What's up, Bull fam? It's your boy Greg here with Jared and Garrett. Episode 4 of the Chargers World podcast. I'm very excited to talk Chargers football with you guys today. We're going to get into a couple things today in this episode, starting with rookie camp. We're going to talk about the Chargers schedule release video, and we're going to talk about some of our record predictions. We also have a very special guest. But before we get into that, last episode, the three of us kind of made a bet to see who was going to get most of the schedule predictions correct, and we kind of all bombed it. And we also included our boys Weston, who's one of our special guests today, and OG into it. So it became a five-way bet, and Westy ended up winning it. So congrats to Westy. We'll have him on today. I think I only got two correct. I got week 1 and I got the Steelers game. Not good at these things. So hopefully I'm better at the record prediction today. Rookie camp started. A couple notable names were there that were not rookies, including Justin Herbert. Jared, what do you think about that? Making his presence there at rookie camp, making a statement, showing these young guys what hard work looks like.
Yeah, I love it. That's our leader. That's our guy. And getting on the same page as we have a rookie running back and we have a couple of rookie receivers this year and new tight ends and all that stuff. So kind of getting acclimated with them and getting on the same page. And I love it. Getting on the same page with Trey Harris, making some plays on the sidelines over there early on. And you got to love the content the Chargers are putting out to Justin. It just makes you ready for football season. It's only May.
Yeah. What about you, Garrett? What do you think about some of these veterans? Because I know Justin wasn't the only one. You mentioned there were some other guys there. Not something we're used to seeing, but got these vets out, working out with the rookies, getting some early summer football in.
Yeah, the one name that popped up besides Justin to me with the new room is the running back room. Najee and Haskins are there with Amari on, going through drills, working out, phase one and Ben Herbert's, strength and conditioning to get the boys ready. Mekhi Becton as well, Slater, all those veterans, the captains and the new guys there. It's just great. And to bring up Justin, I love the sleeve. I love the leg sleeve he's been rocking. You know what I mean? He's looking clean. He's looking fresh. And hopefully, we can see him out the pocket a little more running. So it's exciting time right now for sure.
You brought up the sleeve. A lot of people, when they see that, are concerned. They're like, "Yo, does he have an injury?" Because last season he brought out the sleeve when he was dealing with his leg injuries, his ankle injuries. So now people see that and they're kind of like, "What's going on? Is he injured again?" But I think he just added that as part of his aesthetic. That's part of his training camp.
It might be a comfort thing though too, Greg. He might have liked
Yeah,
it more. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If anything, like we all played sports. We always like that one thing that made us comfortable, competing or weightlifting as well. So it might
hmm
just be a comfort level for him right now. But I love it with like you said, the aesthetic.
Yeah, he's rocking the short hair again. We don't got the long hair Flo Herbo right now, but I think he's a beast no matter what haircut he rocks. You guys know how I feel. But going back to the running backs, you mentioned how Najee was there. What was interesting to me, I saw this video of them running drills, and it was Najee, Hampton, and the third guy after them was Rocket Sanders, who we know has been exempt from special teams, which is so he's an undrafted free agent, and they have him sitting out on the special team snaps. Getting pretty excited about him. I heard an interview where Joe Ortiz was talking about him, and he
Hmm.
said he was one of those guys that we viewed as draftable. And to be able to sign someone that you hope to draft towards the later end of the rounds, and you end up, he's like, it's not very often you get to sign someone as an undrafted free agent that you were hoping to draft. So I see a future for Rocket on this team. I see him definitely getting snaps, and we talked about this, the three of us. How awesome is it to have this new mentality, this new sort of identity, because we have now three running backs, not even including JK, just talking about Najee, Hampton, and Sanders, who are bruisers, who are fitting that Harbaugh mold, that Roman offense. And we finally have that, because last season we had Roman, we had Harbaugh, but we maybe didn't have the roster to match that sort of uh, game plan that they have and their identity that they look for. But I don't know. What do you guys see? That maybe I'm looking too much into it to see Rocket in there with Najee and Hampton. That got me excited.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, Jared.
I think anytime you have a running back that's nicknamed Rocket is a good thing. Um, so actually, a funny story about him. I think we've all played the new college football game, and then played Road to Glory and all that stuff. And I did the quarterback, and I went to South Carolina, and he was my running back. So I'd be like, you go through and you're handing the ball off, and you're like, oh, this guy's Sanders, and you end up following them. And South Carolina had a good year, and their quarterbacks getting talked going top 10 next year. Lazarius Sellers or something, I think that is, and kind of followed him throughout his year last year, and never really thought he'd be a Charger, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, it's exciting times, and having all these guys and watching Omarion and Najee and him and Haskins, just big running backs going through these drills, and you see them. It's exciting.
Well, Lazarius was looking good until you took over his starting spot in Road to
Yes.
Glory. So, so, Garrett, what do you think about that? What do you think about Rocket possibly getting into becoming into part of the 52-man roster?
It's the one name like we keep going back to last week, and we hit it pretty hard. Is what's J.K. doing? What's his future? With us, because again, all three of us all said, and we'll say it again. He's a starter in the NFL, and it's just going to be very, if he doesn't get picked up by somebody, how that's going to unfold. Because again, like we all daydream about the Chargers. I was daydreaming. I'm just like, gosh, man, like what if Marion gets hurt and Najee isn't finding those lanes, and we have J.K. and J.K. pops off for 150 and yards, 100 plus yards in back-to-back games? Then we're talking about him. He's the hot man, and we're going to keep giving him the ball for foreseeable future for the weeks if he's on our roster. So I think that's the only guy stopping him, and him and Vidal battling it out for the special teams play and stuff, because Vidal had a couple good games for us last year, but at the end of the season we kept seeing more Haskins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm a huge fan of him, so very curious to see, Greg, for sure what happens. But again, I'm a big fan of him. That's an SEC school. He could definitely, hopefully, earn a roster spot or compete for it in the preseason.
Yeah, and with J.K.'s status sort of up in the air, right? We talked about the tag that we put on him. A lot of people forget he started the season, first two games, rushing for almost 300 yards. Like he had an absurd game against the Raiders, and then, he's still a starting caliber running back. People maybe are concerned about the injuries. How much money do we pay him? He had sort of a bounce back season. I see the Chicago Bears are linked to him. Chicago Bears in need of a running back. I do definitely think that he will be starting in the NFL next season. If not, if he doesn't get picked up and he stays with us, do you guys think he suits up? Do you guys think he plays for such a low tag, which is, I believe, just above $1 million if he does not get picked up? Do you guys even see him, suiting up, coming to practice, coming to games? I think he's got the personality. He's a very likable guy. I feel like he's a team-first guy. But, put yourself in his position. You seem like you earned yourself a contract coming off of all those injuries. Would you play as what many people consider to be a running back 3 on a team that you were starting for last year?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to my point from last week, too. I just don't see him back. I don't see a way he fits in. And not that he doesn't fit in, that's not the correct term, but I don't see it. We drafted a running back, we signed Najee. They love Haskins on the special teams. They game Vidal run. That's 4 running backs. Well, where does JK fit in here? I have a hard time seeing him back, and I have a hard time seeing a team that needs a running back not signing him. It kind of blows my mind because he's 25, 26 years old.
I just looked that up. That's why I was looking down. I was like, how old is this man?
How old
26.
is he?
He's 26. Hold on. He'll be 27 December 17th.
So he's
3/4 of the way.
26. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
3/4 of the way. No, it doesn't. And again, and us saying he doesn't, again, I know, Jared, you're being super respectful right now. We all are, because he's a starting RB1, RB2 in the NFL. Mm-hmm. 100%. Because if I'm him, RB3, again, that's Haskins, Vidal, they're playing special teams. If I'm J.K. Dobbins, I'm not going tackling people. That's risking another injury for me, a concussion. a shoulder, a hand, anything, an ACL.
That can end his
Like,
career too at that point.
correct. Yeah, no one will sign him after that. He bounced back, and again, his injury this year was him. There was a very awkward tackle on him,
Yeah.
and his foot got stuck in the ground a little bit. But yeah, and again, I want to see him, but at the same time, I don't, because I want to see this dude blossom somewhere else. Hopefully, not in
Yes.
the silver and black or the Chiefs or the Broncos. Hopefully Chicago and we don't play them, or the Saints maybe. I don't know who their RB2 is behind Kamara, honestly.
Yeah, Keandre Miller, they're kind of fed up with there. And
Yeah.
They got rid of Jamal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still a lot of moves to be made, I think, after OTAs and after training camp and after, possibly even after the preseason. We brought guys in late last season, and I anticipate them making a couple more moves like that. And same goes for the rest of the league. I think there's going to be teams after OTAs and camp that look, hey, we're not where we want to be at this position. Let's see what's out there. Because we talked about it, there's still plenty of talented veterans out there that could make an impact and start on some of these teams. So it'd be very interesting to see. I want to really quickly go into Garrett's favorite part of the year after the draft itself is the schedule release. Minecraft themed for the Chargers, once again being talked about as having the best schedule release. They're the GOAT of social media. My favorite part, and I want to know your guys' favorite parts, my favorite part has always been them trolling the Raiders, and this year it was the QR code. He goes into the cave, there's a QR code next to a picture of a shirtless Pete Carroll. You click on the QR code, it takes you to the Chargers website. You click, it says keep going, keep going. You got to do it like 5-6 times. And then it says, why are you still here? Do you not have a job? And then boom, it just throws up a big fat L. So I love that they're constantly trolling the Raiders. They troll every team in the schedule, but I mean, the Raiders one is always gold, and that was by far my favorite part. I want to hear what Garrett's favorite part is, and Jared, you as well.
Yeah, real quick, because again, Greg, we did it last year. We did it again this year. I was big on it. I kept refreshing. I just want to shout out Nerding on NFL.
Shout out Nerdington.
Yep, that is how Greg on Chargers World will send those leaks. Is Twitter. He's huge on it. He was, again, second straight year, 100% before everything got released at 8 p.m. and he had 0 mistakes this year. Last year, I think he had 2 for us personally on the Chargers. But to go back, just wanted a quick shout out. I love it. I love schedule release. Mine was the Cowboys. I thought it was so funny how on the Jumbotron, it was the fan that got ejected from the Mavericks game holding up a Fire Nico sign, a huge one that he brought into a basketball game. The glare and a piece of stadium falling on the field. I thought it was a fantastic job they did.
Yeah. Trolling all of Dallas with that Fire Nico one, not just the Cowboys. So that was great. That was epic.
The whole city. Yeah.
Jared, how about you?
You gotta love the trolling of the division and stuff like that. That's always awesome. You got the Raiders and the Donkeys over there, and then it's tough to really troll the Chiefs when they keep winning. But my favorite was the Giants, and I know they're in my backyard and stuff like that. But what was it, Daniel Jones? Do you guys know the background story to that?
That's what Malik Neighbors called him during an interview.
Yeah, that was really funny. And then doing like the whole monster thing and Saquon coming out in the Eagles uniform, that was really funny. Yeah, they do a great job, man. It's really cool to see. Every year, they just show up. They do. There's never a doubt with them. They hit it right on the head every year.
Yeah,
I think Greg, we got to ask Westy about Minnesota. Okay, just put that in your back pocket real quick. Put that in your back pocket because again, the fans, the listeners don't know where he's from. He is from there, so Greg, let's put that in your back pocket to ask about how he felt about the schedule release as well. Hopefully he saw the one other
banners
sport. Yes, the one other sport up there that I didn't know was that bad because that is bad.
And shout out to the Colts one, too. That one was great. They completely trolled the quarterback situation there. That was awesome.
Yeah, when they had A-Rich tapping out during the drag race, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh, man,
that
that's
was
golden.
The
yeah.
only other, again, to talk about teams, the only one I really enjoyed was I thought the Falcons go kart was really cool. By
Yes,
the way,
that was mine.
I thought that one was really well done. And I watched the Browns one. They had every rookie but one on there, and they screwed that up. They didn't have Shador. Shador would have brought hundreds of more,
Yeah.
thousands more people to
I
watch
didn't even
it.
see that.
And every comment on Instagram was, they didn't bring 12. They didn't bring Shador. What are they doing? You have Dylan Gabriel here over Shador. Like, come on.
I
I
like the
So
mean,
they
Patriots
dropped
one
the
too.
ball.
The Patriots one was cool. Portnoy just reading it, just completely, just giving his honest
Oh,
opinion. That was great.
I'm sorry, Greg. Did you guys see the Bucks one?
no, I haven't seen
Uh,
Tampa Bay's.
Oh my gosh, guess who they brought back, and I love it.
Brady.
Who?
They brought John Gruden a huge box of Bucks gear, and he was pulling out different things.
Oh, that's
The
great.
football that Rondé Barber picked off to go to the Super Bowl with the AstroTurf still on it. They brought a chicken wing and pizza for the Buffalo Bills. They
That's
brought
cool.
an old Simeon Rice jersey he played, I think, before he got to the Bucks. Just trolling other teams that they got. It was sick, man. It's just cool seeing John Gruden back
Yeah.
Yeah.
involved in the sport, man.
Now that he's no longer involved with the Raiders, I will openly admit that I am such a big fan of John Gruden and is watching him break down NFL plays. And did you guys see how he recently went and visited Philip Rivers and talked to his son? Did you guys
What?
catch that?
I saw it. I saw bits and pieces. I didn't see the whole thing yet.
I did. I need to watch the whole thing.
Okay,
I do.
so Old Man Rivers has a grandkid who's just about the age of his youngest son. So Gruden made a comment like, "Yeah, in a couple years, your son's going to be throwing touchdowns to your grandson." So, like, believe it or not, Philip Rivers is a grandfather. I mean, when you have like 12 kids, your oldest one's bound to be ready to have kids too, following your footsteps, trying to catch up. But yeah, that if you guys definitely got to watch that segment with Gruden going and visit.
For
He
sure.
like evaluates his son. He says you got a great football frame. He goes, show me your snap count, and just awesome, dude. It's just great to see Phil like in any aspect, because he's such a private guy. Doesn't really come out to games. He's just content coaching
Chargers
his
gotta bring
son.
him back somehow. Sorry to
But
interrupt you. Chargers
Yeah,
have
they
to really
have
get him
to.
back.
They have to. I think he's just so
I
content living in that small town, coaching his son's football team. I don't know. It's kind of.
I hope
I would love it.
I hope they do something with him. Sean LT Gates
Yeah,
with
Sean's
this
very
Navy helmet that
involved. I
they're
know
gonna.
that.
Oh yeah, he's really involved,
Yeah.
and I just want them to do something with the navy blue. But
Yeah.
also, just the last thing about the Rivers thing, it's just awesome. It also shows how players view John Gruden. They don't view
Yeah.
him about the mistakes he made.
No.
The mistake that it's him still, talking to NFL players, and it just shows the level of respect too. Being here in Tampa, that I didn't even know this either. It's the Bucks' 50th year as an NFL organization, so it's
Yeah.
a big deal down here, and they chose him. A guy that coached here for 7 years to present the schedule release, which again, it's a big deal, man. It's awesome.
Goodell probably not too happy about that. Probably not too happy about that. The
Did you
Bucks
see
are
the
going to
troll?
catch a random fine just to start the season. $25,000,
Yeah.
$50,000 fine, unexplained.
Did you see the troll? Not the troll. This kind of the Chargers threw it in there. The helmet. It was the powder blue helmet.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know.
They
People
threw it
picked
in.
up on it, but I don't know if everyone saw it. And
I did.
we'll see.
We'll see, man.
I hope it's the Navy still, but we talked about this last week. I'm cool with either, as if it's like similar to the Dan Fouts era. I'm just happy that there's going to be another helmet other than the white. So
That should be
Whether it's
coming up
Navy-
soon.
Something new.
yeah, that should be coming up soon. Maybe we'll talk about that on our next podcast if it's out by then. That'd be great.
Greg, come on. Greg,
Are you
let's
guys
get
ready?
into it,
The
man.
moment we've
Let's
all been
go.
waiting for. All right. So we're gonna go through predictions. I don't know. You guys tell me. Do you want to sort of do it how we were bouncing off of each other last week? I'll do week one. You
Yeah.
guys do week one, and then towards the end, we'll just kind of give a. This is my final record, and we can get into it.
Let's do it.
How does that sound? All right. Week one, going to Sao Paulo, Brazil, against the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, my heart tells me we'll win. My mind tells me, how long has it been since the Chiefs have lost their opening game?
2 years.
2 years?
They lost to
How?
Detroit.
That's right. That's
Oh
right. Two
yeah,
seasons ago, and that was
Brian
the
Branch
first. Yeah, I was gonna say that was the
yes.
first time Mahomes threw a Week 1 interception
for a pick six
for a
to a
pick
rookie
six.
safety. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, looking at the last 10 years, how many times have the Chiefs lost Week 1?
Not many.
Probably just once. Might be
Probably
just
just
that
once.
Detroit game. I got us unfortunately losing the game in Brazil, starting off 0-1. And I hope I'm wrong. Again, I'm trying to look at it from a realistic standpoint. That's if we win, I will be through the roof with excitement. But I have us starting 0-1 in a close one, as it always is, a one possession game. But I have us losing that one in Brazil. Jared, go ahead.
So, kind of off your same point there. I do have a loss week one. I'm not saying they can't win. I think they very well could win the game, and it's gonna be a great game. But we just haven't gotten it done against them until we do. Um, yeah, it's just I have a loss. So
Got you.
Before we got on here, we talked earlier. I had a couple games that were really tough to choose a win or loss. I went back and this is one of them. I have a loss as well. There's no way it's number 15. Number 15 is going to be the new number 12 to the AFC East, to the AFC West. Until he's here, we have to punch him in the mouth and beat him. But week one, it's not going to happen.
I hope we are all wrong about Week 1.
Same.
I hope we can come back
Yes.
in a couple months whenever Week 1 is over and we just celebrate being wrong about this. But Week 2,
Absolutely.
I got us flying into Las Vegas, a team that we swept last year, and getting the dub against Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, Harbaugh making a statement saying, "Look, they talk about you, Pete. They talk about you versus me, but this is a new team. I'm back from winning a national championship, back to the NFL. I'm going to kick Pete's ass. It's going to be 1-1. We're going to win that one."
And Greg, is that my fault, guys? Is that Sunday night or Monday night? I
Monday
know that's
night.
a prime time.
That's a Monday night football
That's
game.
a Monday night prime
football
time
game.
home opener for Vegas.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. And we're going to go in there and beat the brakes off.
So I have a win as well. I think we're the better team, and I think they're gonna still be in kind of like that figuring themselves out phase. Yeah, it's gonna be their home opener, and it's gonna be a tough game no matter what. Whenever you go there, it's a tough game. Yeah, I think we're the better team. We have the better coach, and I think we have the better quarterback, and that's what it's gonna come down to. We're gonna just beat them down.
Yeah, I got to win as well. They got a trash O line. That's all I got to say about them. They got a bad O line. They haven't improved it, and we got wins. And Christian Wilkins's knee is in rehab, isn't going well. I think we talked about that offline a couple weeks ago when that report came on. So that again, I hope he recovers because he's a hell of a player. But hopefully he recovers,
wanted him there.
halfway through the season. Yeah.
Week 3. So pretty interesting. We start off with 3 divisional games. I haven't seen that, at least for the Chargers, as long as I've been a fan, to start off 3 divisional games right off the bat. I see the pros and cons in that, but I have us going in, back to SoFi for our home opener against Denver and getting a win there. Going 2-1. I feel like you find your rhythm, right? You're going to go play a tough team week 1 like Kansas City in a completely different country. You're going to go beat your division rivals in Las Vegas. Probably going to be very excited to be back in LA. Hopefully we have a fired up crowd and we go up and we beat Denver and we go 2-1.
I have the same thing. I have us 2-1. I think with Denver, I think they're a very good team, but I do think Knicks is due for some regression. They do have no line, but they're not going to beat us at our own game, and their defense is very good. But I think we'll come out with a dub there, especially the home opener.
All right.
Yeah, home opener dubs around right now, 100%. There's no way we're losing to them on the home opener against that team.
So we're all sitting at 2-1 right now.
Yep.
All right. Week 3. They're going to fly over to Jared's backyard, as we like to call it, play the Giants. And who knows who will be starting? Will it be Russell Wilson? I don't know. But I see us getting a win either way, and I see us going 3-1.
I agree. I think the Giants are a well improved team, and I think they're one of the most improved teams in the NFL. But I don't think Dart is going to be starting. I think they have some all-line questions. Where's Evan Neal going to play, and where's how they kind of shake it out besides Neighbors? I know they have Wandale Robinson, but he can't stay healthy. Their run game isn't too much to worry about. Cam Scatterbo, but I think we beat them, just kind of beat them down on the road, flying across the country and take a dub.
Yeah, I was going to just bring up their secondary. I know they have, I don't know what their corner is. He's from Duke. I think he was their first round maybe a year or two ago. He's gotten benched a few times. I just think we're just a well-around better team than they are. And again, just beat them down. Our defense will be flying around. Hopefully a couple turnovers here and there. But that's a dub.
How many home games did the Giants win at MetLife last season?
One.
I don't think they did.
One. Drew
Yeah.
Lock had 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Okay. All right, just asking. Week 5 against Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. A very, very, very good team. A team that performed last season. You got to give flowers to Jaden Daniels and that whole new staff and that new identity that they're building over there. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. Eckler returning to SoFi Stadium for the first time. I have the Chargers getting a close win here and moving to 4-1, making sort of a statement game.
So, yeah, this game, I think Garrett feels the same way. I mean, it's a complete toss-up. I think
Yeah.
it's hard to really get a gauge on it. Just for the sake of between this game and the Miami game, I'll just say it. I think they lose one of the two. I think Miami's just going to be a tough game going there. Their offense is high-powered, but this was what I was going to say before. I think we're just going to beat teams down, and I think Miami's going to be one of those teams, and I don't know if we'll be able to do that to Washington. So I'll jump the gun a little bit. I have a loss against Washington and a win against Miami.
This was the second game I really was going back and forth on. And Jared, you have the same view as I do. I'll jump the gun and throw it to you, Greg. You can do week 6 as well. I have a win against the Commanders. I think Herbert's going to go on a game-winning drive, and I think he'll do it. But I think we're just going to be tired, and I think we're going to lose to Miami.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but yeah, it was one of those games. So
Yeah, I think
after week 6, I have 4-2. Greg?
So I actually have us beating both Washington and Miami. You guys all know how I feel about Tua and the Dolphins fan base. We're currently 1-1. Tua and Herbert are 1-1. Their record against each other.
Yes.
Yep.
Tua had the game of his life against us the last time we played.
Was that the Salvin Ahmed game?
Was that the what?
The running back, Salvin Ahmed. Didn't he have a big game against us, or am I completely...
No, that was week 1 in the 2023 season.
Tyreek went on.
That was Tyreek.
I don't know if Tua was the quarterback when Ahmed beat us. I remember it was a 4 o'clock game.
No, because we had Mike McDaniel troll us week 1. Are you worried about the Brandon Staley defense? He's like, am I worried about the Brandon Staley defense?
And rightfully so.
No, I'm not.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. And there was a snap in that game where Khalil Mack was lined up against Tyreek Hill. So that should tell you why he made that statement about the Brandon Staley defense, because we all felt the same way. But just to make it short, I got us going into Miami and winning that game. At that point, I have us at 5-1. So next up is the Colts. I got us beating the Colts as well. Again, who's going to be the quarterback there? How's that offense going to look? I don't see us losing to bad teams under Harbaugh like we would in the past. So I got us beating the Colts week 7 and going 6-1.
I agree. I think we're the better team. I think we're better coached, and I think Indy's kind of one of those weird teams. I think yeah, in a season you do kind of slip up and you do have some losses where it's questionable, but I don't think this is going to be one of them, especially at home.
Yeah, not at all. I'm an AR5 believer personally. I hope he can bounce back, but we're just way too good of a team to lose to them and lose at home. So yeah, I got to win as well going into week 8.
Week 8, one of my favorite games probably on the calendar so far. Something I'm really looking forward to. It's a Thursday night football game. Jim Harbaugh against J.J. McCarthy, his quarterback from college. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. It's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a shootout just like the last time we played. And I think here it's going to be a battle of the coaches, but eventually we're going to win this game because we have the better quarterback, the more experienced quarterback. And I have us winning this game as well and being at 7-1 after week 8.
Yeah, so I'm going the other way. I think they lose this game just off the fact that Flores is a very good defensive coordinator, and they're going to be really good defensively. We're going to have trouble running the ball against them. I don't know if they'll score much, and I think that's another one of those toss-up games. I think, yeah, the Chargers going to 100% win that game, especially it's at home, I think, right?
Yeah, it's a home
Yeah.
game, Thursday night football.
Especially at home and a quick turnaround. You're home that Sunday. You play that Thursday at home. I'm a big Kevin O'Connell guy. I love KOC, and I have a loss just because the Chargers aren't going 17-0.
Fair.
Jared, you and I are extremely similar. I have a loss as well. I just think it's gonna Thursday night quick turnaround. JJ's hot to show the world, shows the coach up. It's gonna be a great game regardless. I'm a KOC fan as well, and I'm a huge Brian Flores fan as a DC. Just a tough loss. A punch in the mouth. Humble us a little bit, and on to week 9, going to Music City.
Give us a little extra rest, I didn't think in the 100% win that game, especially, but
Yeah.
Going into Music City, is it going to be Cam Ward starting at this point? Is he going to be going through a mid-season slump in which somehow my boy Will Levis takes the reins again? I know how you guys feel about Will Levis, but I will not give up on him. I have us getting a dub there. Again, like I said, I don't see us losing to the teams in the past that we would lose to, teams that we should beat, teams that will be heavy favorites against. I have us going into Music City and getting the dub against the Titans and being 8-1.
yeah, I have this as a get right game. I think we smoked them.
Yeah, this is going to be the last time Jared and I, when we met in person in Tennessee. It's not going to be like last time when we have so many mistakes. We go for it on 4th down and don't make it, and we give up, I think, a 10-point lead in the second half and go to overtime, and it started pouring rain and they kicked a game-winning field goal after we went 3 and out. Easy game. It's definitely going to be Cam Ward, Greg. We all know that. He's going to be a baller. It ain't going to be Will Levis.
I got to stir the pot. I got to stir the pot.
Just like I'm still an AR5 believer, brother. You're still a Will Levis believer, so it's okay. But yeah, going into a dub, and then going into week 10. Which is a big question mark game too, by the way. Huge question mark game is who's Pittsburgh's quarterback going to be.
Yes. But before we get into that, when you guys
this game was hard.
When you guys met in Tennessee, how many drinks did you have?
It was early. I had a couple. I mean, I know you were drinking tequila.
Yeah, I was, and again, correct me if I'm. Again, I got there, and I got there a little before Jared, but Jared was there for like the whole week partying.
Yeah.
So he was early. He was there a couple days before I got
weekend.
there, but yeah, we linked up, man. It was great. Hopefully,
maybe
we
this year will
link
be
up
different.
again.
Yeah, this year I got to be there with you guys for sure.
Yeah.
Got to make it happen. Week 10, a team that we played last season, a team that, at least for recent memory, we've struggled against because that defense is elite. They have a great coach. They're going to win at least 50% of their games. Pittsburgh Steelers, question mark, like Garrett just mentioned, who's their quarterback? Who's going to be, is it Mason Rudolph, really? Is it Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to end up signing there? I don't think it makes a difference. I think this is one of those games that we still do go in and win at SoFi at home. And call me crazy, I got us at 9-1 after week 10.
I have a win as well. I think we have the better quarterback. Whoever the hell the Steelers are going to start. Yeah, I think that's just going to be similar to the Vikings game and the Commanders game and all those games. I think if you could somehow split those games, I think that's a positive.
Yeah, it's big for us to win this too for playoff implications at the end of the year, wild card seeding, and just to make it and having tiebreakers. But again, Greg, I'm glad you said it because it's their defense, but the number one reason they're always good. And Ryan Clark said it today is Coach Tomlin is unfireable because he does nothing wrong in that organization. And Steelers fans, we've said it when we were who was going to be our next coach after Staley. All three of us said, God, if there's a way we can get Tomlin, that would be do you remember us talking about it? Like, that'd be unbelievable because the rumors of Pittsburgh. So regardless, we're going to get a win still. It will be tougher if Rodgers is their quarterback. But again, this team's so good. I hate them so much, but I love their coach because Coach Tomlin is unbelievable.
The Steelers drafted Jack Sawyer, right?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's going to be fun to see him develop next to TJ. I remember that. I remember when they drafted him, I was like, oh, that kind of just makes sense. Yeah, but I'm super happy about Kyle Kennard. But it was like between those two. And I think Steelers, again, defensively, they're just going to be good always. As long as I've known the Steelers, they've been good at defense going back to the Palomalu days. That's just their identity. So you have to beat them down in other ways. And I think we do, and I think we get that 9-1.
Actually,
week 11.
And Greg, real quick, it's a Najee Harris revenge game. We didn't even bring that up yet.
Yes,
you know?
it's
Mike
a
Williams.
Najee Harris
Najee
revenge
revenge
game. Mike
game.
Williams.
Yeah.
Dante
Najee
Jackson.
had Dante Jackson. Najee had what? 3 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons with that team, and 4 straight. Yeah, since he's been drafted. 4 straight. So for them to just let him leave, kind of, he's definitely got fire under his ass, ready to go off against them week 10. Just stay healthy till then. Make a statement against your old team. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for football, guys. I don't know about you, but week 11, another one that when the schedule came out, I was super stoked for, because we all sort of will have a bitter taste in our mouth when we play this team. Talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars, the previous AFC South team to beat us before the Texans did in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., and obviously Travis Hunter. A new coach, a new identity. How are they going to be? I think they'd be about a 500 team at this point of the season when we play them. I think they'll compete, definitely. But going into the bye, I told you guys before we started recording, I had us at 10-1, and it's 10 straight. After losing to KC, I got us winning this one going into the bye, 10-1.
Go ahead, Garrett.
All right, so again, any fans are there, I will 100% be at this game. 100%. I was at the playoff game. It was horrendous. This is a rematch game. 2 players pop in my mind that will do I'll say 3 actually. 3 players will do anything in their mind not to lose this game. And 2 of them are on defense. There's no way Khalil Mack and Derwin James are going to lose this game. They were on the field for every single snap on defense. Well, Durham was at that playoff game. And Justin Herbert will do everything to not lose this game. I know they probably got so tired of hearing the music of, I forget this rock band, play every touchdown, or people screaming Duval. They're tired of it. I was tired of it. I think this is a statement game. This was the statement game that I put going into the bye week. They're tired. Harbaugh's going to fire them boys up, and same with DJ3. So I think this is going to be a big win going into the bye.
I agree. I think it's a win.
All right, we take a nice late season bye. Obviously, we had the week 5 bye 2 years in a row, so we were all kind of like All right, I was hoping for 7. I think Garrett thought it was week 8, and Jared thought it was week 9. And the NFL was like, "We'll do you one better. We'll give you week 12 to prepare you for the gauntlet that follows after that week 12 bye." But week 13, coming off that much needed rest, hopefully get the guys right for that brutal stretch. Playing the Raiders at home. I know you guys say division games are tough. Bear with me here. I have us beating the Raiders, sweeping them, sweeping Pete Carroll, going 11-1. This is now 11 straight wins, guys, and I hope I'm right. I hope you guys are laughing now. You're like, this guy's crazy, but it could happen. It could very well happen.
I'm just picturing the comments now. Greg's section with, you got to clip this and be like, we're going to be 11-1.
Oh yeah,
With Jared and I just laughing and smiling.
I'll stand by it. I could see it. I mean, if this team lives up to its potential, I don't see why not.
Go ahead, Jared.
So I have a loss to the Raiders, and I'll explain. You'll see where I'm going with it.
All right,
I want to see where you're going with it. Hold on. I want to see.
No,
where
no, we
Yeah,
got more of the schedule to go.
Okay.
I'll explain later.
I have a win before the last 5 games, which is a big stretch of every single one of these teams are going to the playoffs in my mind. The last 5. And it's going to be very interesting how you guys think and how I think. So go ahead, Greg. Lead us off with. Hey, Greg, do week 14 and 15 because I think we're all going to say the same thing real quick.
Okay. You might be surprised at what I say. So I do have us losing to the Super Bowl champ Philadelphia Eagles. You're bound to lose to the good teams, and Philadelphia is a great team on every single level of a football team. When you look at the offensive line, when you look at their running game, when you look at their receivers, even when you look at their quarterback, they're a great team. And I do see them making a push for the Super Bowl again this upcoming season. So I have us losing that game, going 11-2. Week 15, I do have us beating the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City, and I'll tell you why. Justin Herbert has won there before, and it's easy to say, you know what, we're just going to drop both to the Chiefs every season. We're going to drop, but you guys talked about taking it to the next level and being that team. You got to beat the best to be the best, right? I have us going in, competing. I think, having all of these tough games, they got to have a fire, and they got to know, like, we can't just drop Philly. We can't just drop Kansas City because we still got Dallas, Houston, and Denver coming up. They're going to push hard. They're going to play some of their best football late into the season, and they're going to get it done in Arrowhead. They're going to win that game.
So for week 14 against the Eagles, I have a loss. I think they are coming across the country, and I can see us beating them, but it's going to be tough. It's going to take A+ effort all around. And then same as you, Greg, I have us beating the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. This kind of goes back to my point with the Raiders, and I have us losing back-to-back games coming off the bye, which is kind of crazy and it's hard to see. But I think, like you said, I think you get the best Chargers you have all season in Arrowhead. And I think my whole theory behind this is, and I'll get ahead to week 18, I do have us losing to Denver. I split all the division games. So I went 3-3, 3 wins, 3 losses. Obviously, things change. And last year, we were 4-2. We swept both Denver and Vegas, and I can very well see that again. And I do think we get the Chiefs this year at some point. And it could be week 1, and I hope it's week 1. But what do you got, Garrett?
I got back-to-back losses. Philly's just, again, they're the best. Again, Greg, you could go down. You could bring the tight end. You could bring the DB room, the safeties, the linebackers. The defensive line is the best in football.
Yes.
Again, it'd have to be them being injured for us, I think, to win. They're well coached. Nick Sirianni gets heat, but the dude's a winner.
He used to be on our team. Yep. He used to be with the Chargers.
I know. And then week 15, we play number 15, and as long as number 15's there, it's tough for them to win. But I got us losing both games, and I'm with Jared. We'll get to week 18, but Yeah, but it's just back-to-back losses going to Jerry's World.
Yeah, and I kind of want to do the last 3 weeks
I was
as
gonna say
one
finish it
block.
off.
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
want
it.
to do
Let's
the
do it.
last three because I do have us going 1-2 in the last three. I have us losing to Dallas in a close one. I feel like we always struggle at Dallas, even though I hope the NFL doesn't find me for saying this, but the referees have been kind of shaky in the previous Dallas games. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys remember the false starts when we played against Dallas that took away
The
touchdown
Monday
two
night game.
times. Yeah, so America's team. I see us getting a loss there. I see us getting a loss in Dallas. I see us getting a win against Houston at home for the revenge game. You guys brought up the Jacksonville game, how all those guys, they don't want to lose. Well, this one is going to sting a little bit more because it's more recent. So I have them again playing some of their best football against Houston. I think the O-line with Becton will hold up a lot more than the interior did in the wild card game. And I think, with these younger weapons, Herbert will have someone else to throw to who's not named Lad McConkey. So I have us beating Houston. At this point, we're 13-3. Going on the road against Denver, I have us losing. So I do have us going 4-2 in the division, splitting with the Chiefs, splitting with the Broncos, and sweeping the Raiders, and eventually finishing 13-4 at the top of the AFC West. That's where I got us.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. And so my last three, I have us losing in Dallas. I have us beating Houston. I have us losing in Denver. And those
Same as
division
me then.
games, yeah, those division games can go anyway. Dallas can go anyway. Like we said, Washington, Minnesota, those are all winnable games. I'm not saying they can't win those games. I think it's the most realistic. I think it's kind of somewhat realistic and kind of on the lower expectation side. I have us at 10-7 and making the wild card again until they prove they can beat Mahomes and win that division, which they can 100% compete. They definitely can. But yeah, it's 10-7 and wild card again. I do think this team can make a run.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. Week 16, 17, 18. I have us beating Dallas. I have us winning that game because I have us losing two straight. I think we'll come back in Jerry's World and, Dallas. Week 17, Greg, you hit it right on the head. It's a revenge game. And the only thing Houston really does is they just add to the wide receiver room. They still have a horrible offensive line. And, we'll hopefully, we can expose that. We did a little bit in like the first, half before that game, went off the
And
rails.
just
Then,
chime in here. They lost their
yeah,
best offensive lineman. They let
Tunsil,
him go. They let him go.
all
Yeah.
pro, all pro, all pro, left tackle.
That defense is nasty.
Yeah, it is. And then week 18, we all have us losing to Denver in week 18. I have us going 11-6 and getting a wild card spot as well. I think the Chiefs win the division still, and somehow, but we can definitely compete with them. Josh Allen, Lamar, Joe, and Houston, or I think Jacksonville is going to be a lot better this year than last year. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the floor and the ceiling. I think they are a very good team. I think the 10-13 is very reasonable and very achievable, especially with how they went about this offseason. And I think they'll add pieces that'll help the team. And then I think the coaching overall. But
Yeah, and I have us winning every single game in the AFC South. I think we all do.
I think they can.
Yeah,
But
me too. I think that's the weakest division in football.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
so
you
too.
see that you're given the AFC South as the division that you're going to go up against. I think you're excited about that. There's not many divisions, like you guys said, there might be one of the worst. So there's not many divisions that you're going to play where you could possibly sweep them. So I'm excited for that. What are your final tallies on records? I know I had 13-4. Jared,
10-7.
10-7. Garrett.
11-6.
Okay. So just about where this is kind of interesting. Jared has us getting slightly worse, but that has to be with the difficulty of the schedule in comparison to last year. You have us being just about the same, and I have us improving by 2 games. And if you think about it, the Arizona game last season, and there was another one where we could have easily won those 2 games and been 13-4.
Pittsburgh
So
could have been one.
Pittsburgh, we were up. Herbert got, he was already banged up. He got a little bit more banged up. And then Justin Fields just had a career game against us. But we were not that far off from 13-4. And you hope to improve every year. Second year with this head coach, second year with this offensive coordinator. I think, 10-7 and 11-6 are definitely more realistic than my 13-4. But I have high hopes and high expectations, and I see them getting better every year. And at some point, someone's got to dethrone Kansas City in the FC West, and it sure as hell won't be Bo Nix before it's Justin Herbert. I'll tell you guys that.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get Weston on here. Sent him an invite. If we're not able to, we might just wrap this up and have him come on next time and talk some football with us.
Let's see if I sent it to his email.
What are you guys looking forward to for the rest of the offseason? I know we have the Hall of Fame game, which we talked about in Ohio, coming up in July, but what are you hoping to see in May and June? I know we're going to get some footage of these rookies, and we're going to see some of these guys making catches, like we saw Trey Harris making some catches from Justin Herbert. So what are you guys looking forward to in these months leading up to football?
I think it's the whole, just seeing the content and seeing these guys get out there and compete against each other and who wins certain spots. I think we have some question marks on who's starting in certain places, and I think it's exciting to see. And I think I was going to bring it up before, the D-line. Very interesting there. They have they did an interview with Naquan Jones, Deshaun Hand, and Tierre Tart. And Tart and Hand actually played together in Miami a little bit, and Tart was talking about being wanted somewhere. And he kind of preached for Hand and Jones, and it's exciting to see what they have there, and with Caldwell and guy from Bama, I can't even say his name. It's an exciting group and one to keep your eye on for the whole offseason.
Yeah. And on that note, we are blessed with the presence of Minnesota's finest, the winner of the schedule prediction challenge. He snuck in and sniped us and took all that money from us. So I want to give a warm welcome to our friend, a fellow Chargers fan, Weston Hansen. Westy, welcome. Thank you for joining us on the show.
What's up, boys? Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thankful to have you. Thanks for taking our money. Good predictions there on the schedule.
4 out of 18. But,
hey, that's double what I did. That's double what I did. You got 2 more than I did.
Quadruple what I did.
I lost by 1. I lost by 1.
This is supposed to be your shit, Garrett.
I tried, guys. I tried. I just refreshed nerdy on. Hey, I got the one I wanted the most. I got, and that was Week 11 in Jacksonville. I was preaching. I probably annoyed the hell out of you guys. I'm like, it's got to be it. It's got to be it.
So, Weston, first of all, congratulations not only on winning the bet, but to your Minnesota Timberwolves beating the Golden State Warriors, moving on to the Western Conference Finals. I know you said you've never seen a team that you root for in the Super Bowl. You've never seen it, witness it. So I'm wishing you guys the best. I hope you guys make it to the finals. And I think with Boston out there, with no Tatum, I think, if you end up playing New York, then I think you guys have a good chance to win one. And I'm a big Anthony Edwards fan, kind of off topic. But also, we went over our schedule predictions. We went week by week. We all have our records. Garrett thinks we'll be 11-6. Jared thinks we'll be 10-7. I think we'll be 13-4. I want you to tell us what you expect out of the Chargers this season, which games you're highlighting and looking forward to, and essentially what record do you see us ending with?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just pull up the schedule here. Just a second. Okay, so kind of off first impressions, you guys probably talked about it, so I'm going to be piggybacking off of one of you guys. But right away, what stood out to me, my favorite thing about this schedule is easily 1, 2, 3 division games to start out the season. I don't think there could be a better way to kick off Harbaugh's second year. We're going to get like the system going. Everything's going to be settling in. It's not going to be like the new regimen and everything like that. Like it's just like now we're going to be going full steam ahead. And I don't think there's literally a better way than the chance to start out 2-1 or 3-0 and get all those games, which are basically games and a half, in my opinion. You can maybe even argue 2 games in some points if we come down to it and we tie with the Broncos or the Chiefs come down to the end of the season for the second or hopefully first spot in the division. I'm not worried about the Raiders, but you always want to beat them. It's fun to beat them. And as far as prediction goes for the whole schedule, after looking it over, I've kind of gone back and forth between 12-5 and 13-4. The game I'm really going back and forth on, ironically, I swear it's not because I'm a Minnesota native, but when the Chargers and the Vikings play each other, I always tell my friends here that are Vikings fans that the Chargers are literally the Vikings of the AFC. Like, amazing history, amazing games, so fun to watch, so many good players, such a good legacy, and nothing to show for it. Break your heart, choke in the worst ways possible. And whenever they play each other, that was the only time I've actually seen my Bolts is week 3, 2023, when they came to US Bank. And man, both teams were just trying to give the other one the win. I mean, Staley was like, let's go for it, 4th and 1 on our own 20. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
That was Keenan Allen game at the Kellen Moore.
Didn't Josh Palmer have the tipped one, something that should have been intercepted? He had the tipped pass.
Let me see if you guys remember this. How do we win that game, though? You guys remember how we won that game?
Kenneth Murray interception tipped up because Nick Neiman knew the play, and he was calling it out to everyone. He's like, I know what's coming. They were bleeding the clock. We were all wondering what they were doing or what the strategy was. It was 1st and goal with 20 or 30 seconds left, and they just sat there
30 seconds
forever.
Yeah.
With what? Mm-hmm. That was poor management by my favorite part of that game, though, easily was just Joe Ortiz. Since they were just blitzing Herbert like crazy, Herbert's just checking down to Allen every time. He's like 10, 15 receptions, and he had that play brewing, just check back to Allen, and like, okay, this is not gonna turn into anything. And sure enough, Mike Williams is gone because the safeties come back up and passing touchdown to him. That was a pretty electric moment. I was sitting next to a couple Bolts fans at the stadium, and we were going nuts. That was a heart attack, but a really fun game.
Yeah, well, Staley and KOC are friends. They're buddies, and we were both 0-2 at the time, and it was like they had put up the statistics of the chances of you making the playoffs when you start off 0-3. So it was a very meaningful game early on in the season for both of these guys, not just because of the team records, but because they know each other. I'm sure friendly. They want to beat each other, right? If you know if you know the coach, there's only more to it. So I remember that was a very fun game, and probably one of the better games of that season now that we look back at it. But you mentioned Minnesota. What did you think about the schedule release video and the little dig on Minnesota? I want to hear your thoughts on that.
So it saddens me a little bit. The schedule release was amazing. I mean, if this counted for regular season games or post, we'd be all-time Super Bowl champions every year. Every other team is catching up to our media. That's how good we are. It's like our Super Bowl, sadly. But I was a little saddened. So for context, my favorite team is the Chargers. I do like the Vikings, but Chargers, ride or die all the way. But I am Timberwolves, Wild, and Twins. And so when they're taking digs at the Wild, it's like, oh no, my favorite team's attacking my favorite hockey team. And all the Minnesotans are getting stirred up. And it's ironic because the Chargers and Wild aren't that different, But one stat not talked about for the Wild that was talked about for the Leaves is I think they just passed up the Leaves on most consecutive first round losses. It's 8 of the last 10 years they've lost in the first round.
Yeah, well, my Kings have done that and lost to the same team 4 years in a row now. So when it comes to hockey, I feel your pain.
He's brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that?
Yes, I
Edmonton
did.
and Las Vegas, that
Last
1-0
night.
game.
Man, hey,
Yeah.
a loss for Vegas is a win for America. Nobody likes that stupid team.
Hey, real quick, Westy, before we go, because we're all from different states, right? I'm from California. Jared's from New York. Garrett's from Florida.
New
You're
Jersey.
from Minnesota. Sorry. Westy, how did you become a Chargers fan?
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, I wasn't that into football. I wasn't that into sports really at all. I would call myself a Vikings fan, but I would watch 3 minutes of Vikings football all year long. I didn't really care. But I liked the Chargers because of their cool like lightning bolt logo, and so like I'd be like, oh, go Chargers, and I didn't know anything about them. So come 2020, my buddies need me to do a fantasy football league with them, and I'd kind of watched the 2019 playoffs a little bit. That was the first Super Bowl that I sat down and watched by myself. Terrible one, Patriots Rams. That was a horrible way to start out.
Rams scored 3.
Yeah, God, brutal.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really know anything, and I vividly remember Week 2 against the Chiefs, Justin Herbert's debut, and the game was on right after the Vikings had lost, and I was like, "Oh yeah, go Chargers!" I used to like them for their logo or whatever. Deshaun Watson got hurt in a game, I believe, or he did really bad, and I picked up Herbert to be my backup quarterback for fantasy.
Nice.
And so I started like watching the Chargers more and more. There was the Monday night Saints game that was really close. That I was really into that one. And in that Jacksonville game, I benched Herbert for Deshaun, and Herbert put up like 38 fantasy points. Like that was his like big breakout game. And I was like, okay, I'm starting this guy from now on. And I found as the season was going on, I cared more about the Chargers and was more interested about them and their games than the Vikings. I was like, I have so much fun with this team. I love this team. I love Herbert. Not repping his jersey. I thought I would. I think it's Garrett that gets a little stirred up when I wear the Royal because this is my favorite color. I do got the Eck. He was my second favorite player when we had him. But anyway, so after that season, I was like, I would call myself a Vikings fan at that time, but I really liked the Chargers more. And so I'm like, I wouldn't call it jumping ship since it's kind of my first year watching football in 2020, but just figured I liked them more. And I think I made the right choice, even though it's led to a bunch of heartbreak, but I don't regret it a day in my life. They're so much fun to watch. I love the fans. I will die on this hill. We do not have the least amount of fans in the league. I know that's like the big meme or whatever. Jacksonville or the Titans or one of them has to have less fans than us. I will die. Put a gun in my head. We're at least 31st. I promise.
Yeah,
I tell you guys what.
Titans, and they make fun of that schedule release, but that just kind of like shows that nobody really gives a shit about the Titans. No one knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's been all downhill. I mean, they got off to a bad start with not a good start / bad start. Because I didn't know this until I watched the Steve McNair, R.I.P. documentary. That was their first year in Nashville. They went to the Super Bowl against the Rams and came up a yard short on
Yep.
on it. So
I know his name
they
too.
were like
Yep.
up here. I think it was Kevin Dyson.
Dyson.
If I pulled that, that's a crazy pull. That's a crazy pull.
It is. It's Dyson. I guarantee it. Yeah. Can Dyson get in? He cannot. It was
yeah. And then a fun fact about the Saints game that you watch. That's, again, our boy, Mike Dubb. One of his first nastiest catches with dreads when his helmet came off on
great.
3 saints.
Crazy.
I remember
That was
that,
nasty, man. That was nasty.
I'm actually going to clip that. I'm going to have you talking about it, and I'm going to have that catch as you're talking about it. That's how much I love that catch. So,
yeah, I do
Westy.
too. I still love, last thing, I love like just us talking, having fun like this in our group chat. I just love us pulling random names out because the most fun conversation I had is talking about the Titans game when Justin threw it to Mike Dubb again on the sideline. When Jared's just like, that crazy interception too, and Jared's like, I think it's McCreary if I'm not wrong. And then we looked it up right after this podcast. I'm like, Jared, you're right.
It was
bro.
McCreary. He tipped
He batted it back in.
It, yeah.
Yep. Herbert was just throwing it away, just like might as well at the end of the game.
That was a crazy
guess what we were wearing during that game?
Yes, we were.
We were.
Not the Navies. We played terrible
Mike
in the Navies.
So, Westy, thank you for coming on, man. I'm
Yeah.
sure we're going to have you on more often. You're
Absolutely.
one of the boys. Like I said, it's us three, Westy and OG. We love talking Chargers football. And we appreciate you guys for listening and hope we have some good content for you guys next week as well. And as always, bolt up.
Bolt up.
What's up?
Built up.
And well done.